My iced chai. This has been my drink of choice. Come here, buddy. Come here. Literally, the minute I film, he wants to be with me. He sees me turn on the camera and he'll wake up and just find me.
Hi, I'm Wyatt.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a highly requested video. When I first announced that I was pregnant, so many DMs would come in and comments. Were there any signs the first week or 2 weeks before you actually knew you were pregnant that kind of made you think like, I might be pregnant? And yes, there was some weird things, especially looking back. I'm like, wow, that was different. Also, today is Sunday. Happy Sunday, everyone. I always upload Sunday and Wednesday, but Sundays are extra special to me because that's actually what starts a new week. So today I am officially at 14 weeks and officially in my second trimester. I thought that the second trimester started at 14 weeks, which it does. And I said that on social media, and this is why I always say I gotta do my own research and not just trust what everybody puts in my DMs and comments. The second trimester actually starts 13 weeks, and so many people kept telling me that. And I realized when I said that to my doctor, I was like, wait, I'm not in the second trimester? She said that the reason why people think that it's in the 13th week is because 12 weeks is when it's usually safe to share with friends and family, like, hey, I'm pregnant. So by 13, people think the killer. By 13 weeks, people start to think it's the second trimester, but it's actually 14. So now I'm in my second trimester. I officially found out I was pregnant at 5 weeks. I took the pregnancy test at 5 weeks, almost 6 weeks, and found out I was pregnant. I heard there's such a thing as taking a pregnancy test too early, so you could be pregnant, but you take it too early and the test actually can't read the hormones. So for me, it was 5 weeks. That's the first question I always get asked. When did I take the test? I took it at 5 weeks, and you should check out my video finding out I'm pregnant. We weren't exactly trying, but we weren't not trying. We were like testing the waters, like, ooh. I didn't think that I was pregnant. Is he licking his butt? Wyatt, can you do that later? I actually have everything written down because I wanted to eventually share this video. Okay, so week 1, when it was implanting. So this is like the implanting stage. There's a lot about this on the internet that I've read about. Now, after finding out I was pregnant, the first thing I noticed, like the first body change that I noticed was I had eczema on my armpits, which I thought was really strange. They were just like really itchy, and no matter what I did, I had eczema on my armpits. So I remember calling my mom and I was like, what's that natural deodorant you use? I think my deodorant is giving me eczema on my armpits. So she told me. I went to Whole Foods, I got it, used it, all good. I do have eczema flares here and there, but I get them on my knuckles, which is really weird, but yeah. That was like the first body change. And then the second body change that I noticed was my nipples. This is gonna be super TMI, but they were looking so different. I don't even know how to say it without like sharing too much, but it's like I want to share with you guys because I want you guys to know, but also it's just like, whatever. This is gonna be TMI. That's not like for everybody to watch. It's just for people that really want to know. I had like cute tiny little nipples, and now I noticed that they were starting to get bigger, and like around them was getting bigger, and they were super itchy. Now looking back, now that I'm pregnant, the reason why they're getting bigger and everything is preparing for milk. They were getting itchy because my boobs are actually getting bigger. They're expanding, the skin is expanding. My stomach too is always itchy because it's starting to expand. Those are like the first 2 things in week 1 that I noticed. I was like, something's not right. Now I know that my body is really sensitive while being pregnant. I was going on an influencer trip, and we were going to Aspen and trying on workout clothes. That was why we were there. We were there to test out new styles, try new styles, work out. And for me, I just get the worst periods, like clockwork. Some months they're a little easier than others, but for the most part, they were always 10 times worse than my friends. Please God, don't let me get my period day 1 in Aspen with all the influencers and trying on workout clothes. Please let me get it like a day before I go. That way it's like the worst while I'm home and can like lay with the heating pad, and then by the time I get there it starts to slow down. So for me, I was just waiting to get my period, and at this point I wasn't late yet, so I knew I was getting it within the next 3 days. and I was leaving for Aspen on the 3rd day, but it could come a little bit before, a little bit after. That was totally normal for me. So the next day, I got my period pimple. So right there, I ruled out being pregnant. It was in the back of my mind, but I was just like, no, no. Like, I just didn't think so. So I got my, I always call him Gary on social media if you follow me on Instagram, and I actually have it right now. And it's this hormonal pimple that I only get when I'm getting my period. And it's like this bump and you can't squeeze it, you can't do anything. It's like one of those internal pimples. So once I got that, I just knew like, okay, I'm getting my period. And then I started getting cramps. Like, not as bad as period cramps, but I started getting cramps. For me, that's normal with my cycle. So you just wanna really be in tune with your body and just know what's normal for you. For me, I'll start getting cramps like a day or two before my period, and then the day it comes, like the day I actually get it, the cramps are horrible. But the first few days, it's like, oh, I feel cramps, I'm getting it. And your stomach starts to feel warm. That's how I felt. So I said to Jared, so I told him, I was like, I got my period pimple and I've got cramps. We're not pregnant. Started packing for the trip. So I packed tampons, pads. I'm one of those people, I need everything. We get to the airport and I'm wearing a tampon there just in case. So I'm really thinking I'm getting it, and my cramps start getting worse. So I'm like, oh no, please don't let me get it while I'm in the airport. So I'm just gonna cut the story right there for a second. So later on, when I finally talked to my doctor and I was like, but I got period cramps. He was like, no, what you got and what you were feeling was your uterus stretching. Even now at 14 weeks, I'll just randomly get a cramp, and it's nothing like period cramps. It's not like, oh my gosh, I need a hot pad or anything like that, but it's just like, ooh, that feels a little uncomfortable. So I'm not far along, I'm not at the point yet where I can start feeling kicks or anything like that. It's just literally my uterus starting to stretch. So that was actually my first symptom of pregnancy. And if you're waiting to know if you're pregnant, it's kind of hard because you can't take a test until you're missed period. So you don't know if you're getting your period or if you're gonna be pregnant. And the early symptoms of period are also similar to early symptoms of pregnancy, in that you start to get cramps and can feel that cramping. Another symptom can be light bleeding, not too much, but like light bleeding. And I never did experience that, but my doctor did say that that was normal too, which could also be an early symptom of getting your period. So it's like it's a lot of similarities in the beginning. Yeah, the reason why I got my Gary pimple is because pregnancy, like your period, is a hormonal change. So I was still getting my hormonal things like period pimple. The next thing that I noticed was body acne. Not body pimples, body acne. I'm somebody that I will randomly get a pimple on my back from working out, and it'll be like where my sports bra is. Like, I just will randomly get one. Well, I started full on getting pimples on my chest, my shoulders. There's a few on my arms right now. I was just like, what the heck? Like, we're back in time now, so I still don't know I'm pregnant. I literally thought, oh my gosh, this is gonna be the worst period ever. Like, I was still convinced I was getting my period. I actually have a few that I covered up with, you can see some. I covered it with like foundation, but you can see them coming in. And for me, I've always been fortunate enough to never have a blemish, mark, or anything on my chest. But like I said, the occasional back pimple, that's normal, but they are all over my chest, shoulders, and back, and they're so painful. I went to go itch my back the other day and I hit one. I was like, oh my God. It's also normal to get it on your face, acne or pimples or anything like that in the early symptoms of pregnancy, because again, you're so hormonal, your levels and all these things that my doctor was explaining to me are so much higher now. So I noticed that when I got to Aspen. And then the other thing is, when I got there, I was extremely homesick and had this urge to get home. I think we can all agree that we have had moments in life where our intuition is what took over. And for me, I've been an intuitive person since I was a kid, and just would know things before they would happen, or just feel that something was happening even before it would happen. And so there, I had this urge that I had to get home, to the point where I called my husband and said, could you look up flights? I think I'm gonna come home today. And he was like, what? Like, you just got there. And I was like, I don't know, I feel emotional and I gotta get home. And he was like, what? He was like, it's okay, you're getting your period. I felt like I just could cry at any second. And not to say that I'm not a crier, I'm not like, well, I never cry, but like, not that easy. Like, it takes me a second. And yeah, so I wanted to cry. And if you look up pregnancy symptoms, like early pregnancy symptoms, tiredness is huge on the chart. Actually, people say that they're really tired their whole first trimester. And for me, I was just so sick. I was throwing up all the time that like there was no time to sleep because I was constantly running to the toilet. But I would say like those like 4 weeks that I didn't know I was pregnant, I was so tired. So the end of November, so my birthday is the end of November, Thanksgiving's the end of November, all of those events, I was beyond tired. And like my friend said, now looking back, now that they know I'm pregnant, they're like, yeah, you were being weird. Like they gave me wine, and you guys know I'm not like a huge drinker. Like I'm not somebody that I like to get drunk or anything like that, but I do enjoy a nice glass of wine. And on Thanksgiving, that was during the implantation phase. So I had no idea I was pregnant. It's no missed period yet, no period cramps yet. That was like the earliest sign, Thanksgiving, when I was pregnant. I had a sip of wine and felt so sick. I thought that, I was like, ugh, this is not good wine. Like, ugh, I don't like it. And Jared was like, we brought this one. This one's our favorite. And I was like, it is? So again, it's like, it's your body's way, I feel like, of protecting you and just letting you know like, hey, something's up. So yeah, that was the only time I had alcohol during my pregnancy, was that sip on Thanksgiving. And everyone was like, are you okay? Like, because I literally had a sip and was like, I felt sick. Like I felt like I was gonna throw up. So I guess those would be my big symptoms. Is I had a really small appetite, I had really itchy boobs, my nips were looking different, eczema on my armpits, I started feeling fatigue out of nowhere, I had period cramps, although as we know now, pregnancy cramps, body acne, so any difference in hormonal changes. So that could be different for everybody though. Like some people notice like, wow, I have really good skin out of nowhere, I have really glowing skin. Some people get that. Some people get a change of skin texture where you have maybe normal skin, but now you have more oily skin. Like any hormonal change, that is normal with pregnancy. For me, I got the body acne, yay! And now I'll take it, even if it never goes away. I just, I've been calling the baby Dot because we don't know if it's a boy, we don't know if it's a girl. When I saw Dot the other day on a 4D ultrasound, and they're playing and jumping around and stretching and doing everything but sleeping and being still, it was like, me and Jared are saying it's like little me reincarnated. It just made it feel so real. Like everyone told me like in the beginning it feels weird because it's like you're not showing yet, and you know, no one knows you're pregnant really unless you tell them, because there's no like, you know, huge bump or anything. But it just made the whole thing feel real. And so many people told me that before you're showing and before people can obviously tell that you're pregnant, it almost doesn't feel real. And I related to that so much in the beginning when I was just constantly throwing up at this point knowing I'm pregnant. Since that was always on my mind, throwing up, I couldn't really think of anything else. Like I was obviously excited, but it just didn't feel real. It just felt like, oh my God, I'm sick every day. It just makes everything worth it. And that's what you guys were telling me, that I was like, when I was sick every day, I was like, guys, I'm never doing this again. I'm only having one kid, but now I'm like, I could do this again. I also wrote in notes in my phone that it started to become hard to sleep because my boobs were so sore. I forgot this one. If you even hugged me, I'd be like, ow, ow, ow. They hurt. Like it literally felt like I got hit with like a big basketball right in the boobs. It was just like a constant, like, my boobs hurt. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Comment down below, what were your early signs of pregnancy? Or comment if you think that you could be pregnant. I'd love to know. I love you all. Have a fabulous day, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye. I'm also extremely